Today I got a video that I'm hoping some of you guys will find useful or interesting. What you see here is a buck 119, and that's just a classic buck knife that y'all all know and love. And typically how they come is set up like this, which is going to be a 6-inch clip point blade. They have a phenolic resin type handle, and they're very utilitarian, great knives, but to me, they were a little bit limited on some of the things you can do with them. I do a lot of camping and hiking, so I wanted to make this knife, which I love, I've had for probably over 10 years now, but make it more oriented for more bushcrafting or outdoor hiking uses. So, and also for skinning too. The main thing I wanted to change was, one, with the phenolic resin handle, it's very slick. Two, I don't like having the guard here go above the blade. That always bothered me. I wanted a lanyard hole, and I wanted to fix the blade shape where it's more useful for bushcrafting tasks. The clip points are great. They give you a very, very fine point, but to me they're not really useful for skinning, as well as, like I mentioned, other bushcrafting task. And also the clip points are just they're more susceptible to breaking off because it's a more delicate tip. So, this is good for certain things, but like I said, I wanted to modify my blade to be more useful for what I use. So I'm hoping that this video is going to help some of you guys. I'll just kind of go through some of the things I did to improve, in my opinion, this blade for my uses. I'll say that. So the easiest one you see here is I added a lanyard, and those are just useful because it just adds a way to grab the knife. You can hang it off things. It's just a lot more useful to have a lanyard on there on an outdoor knife. Another good thing you could do, this one here is an OD on the paracord lanyard, but you could put like a bright orange or neon green type of lanyard. That way it's more visible. If you drop your knife, you're able to spot it instantly, like if it's in leaves or some other low lit area. That would help with recovering your knife if you accidentally drop it or set it down just for whatever reason. So let's go ahead and get the blade out here, and I'll show you some of the other things that I did. And by the way, the sheath that Buck provides with this leather sheath is a really nice sheath. I really like it. I did put a little Ranger band on here. And that's just useful if I could put like a ferro rod or something in there, or any other small item you can just clip on there. Those are made from bicycle tubes, so the inner tubes of a bicycle. If your bike gets a flat and you're going to throw away those tubes, don't throw them away. Just cut them into Ranger bands. They have 1,001 uses. Okay, so here's the blade. Now that you can see some of the modifications that I did to this thing. So this is probably the most drastic change here. And what I did to the phenolic resin handle, which the phenolic resin is a good handle, like I mentioned, it's just slick. I mean, it's very durable, it's hard, it's chemical resistant, and it's good for most tasks. But like I mentioned, if you have blood on your hands or if it's wet, that phenolic resin it's like ice. I mean, it's slick. So I wanted to improve that. So what I did is I wrapped mine with hemp. Just regular old, crafting hemp that you can get at any type of crafting store, or even probably Walmart or something like that. I went with a very fine, coarseness on this. I didn't want it thick, so I went with a real fine hemp string here. And what I did is I first sandblasted the phenolic resin with aluminum oxide. That's just to add a little more grit and texture to it, because when I was wrapping this, I would occasionally glue it with some super glue down, just so it would stay in place. And I wanted to have that aluminum oxide finish so it just bonded better. So it took a little bit of time. You can see, you just got to take your time and just wrap it, as tight and as close together as possible. You can always fix it if you make a mistake. Just unwrap it and fix the part that you did. And like I mentioned, a tip would be to have some super glue handy and just occasionally just put a drop and overlap it, over that drop of super glue, and then it'll hold, anything prior to that in place because of the super glue there. So once you get it all the way wrapped like I did here, what I did is I came back and I coated the entire handle with just fiberglass resin. So you can buy that at Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, and it's a 2-part product. You just mix it. I mean, you can use something else like a clear epoxy or even like linseed oil. But I wanted to seal that hemp. So 1, it won't absorb moisture, and 2, just holds it solid. So it's really held up nicely. I did this mod probably in 2000, maybe 11 or 12. So it's at least 5 years now. I use this knife quite a bit when I go out in the woods. So you can see it has held up really nice. You know, that hemp is just tough by itself, and then when you seal it with that resin that I put on here, it's basically impervious to moisture and just holds up really nice. If you do start wearing through that resin, you can always just put another coat on. So it's worked out really good, and you can hear the texture. I mean, it's incredibly improved. Very comfortable on the hand, no hot spots. So I don't know if y'all guys have ever seen something like that, but I really like that mod that I did. The next main thing that I did is going to be to the blade shape. So you can see I turned the clip point, which again, there's your clip point type of blade shape. So I went ahead and turned this into a drop point. And I believe instead of being a 6-inch blade, I think it's 5 3/4. I'm trying to see if I have a tape measure handy, and I'll just measure real quick. 1 second, let me see if I can find one. Okay, sorry about that, guys. And it shows it is about 5 3/8. So actually it's 5 3/8. So I took a little bit of length off of that clip point and just sloped it down with a belt sander and just kept the steel cool by dunking it in water as it heated up, just so I wouldn't mess up the temper on this thing. And another thing on the steel, really impressed with the Buck steel. This is 420 high carbon stainless steel. So typically that's thought as a low grade or entry level steel. But for whatever reason, Buck really heat treats these things really nice. I mean, they do an excellent job on their heat treating, and it's pretty durable. I mean, I never have any problems with rust. I do oil my blades occasionally, but this thing has proved to be a really excellent steel. I don't know what Buck does to make it better than the other 420 high carbons that you typically see, but it's much better than your standard 420. I'll tell you that. So I shaped that down, and now this point is a lot more durable. It's better for skinning, where you're not going to poke through the hide like you would with a clip point. So really like that modification. And then on this area here, you can see I put in some jimping, and I just cut that in with a file. It's not precise. I mean, I didn't mark them out. I just did it this quickly. And again, that gives you better grip here. And then to access that, I removed the top of the guard here. So you can see, again, on the original Buck, across the top there, I just, again, used a belt sander and sanded it down, just so it's smooth. And then I hand sanded it just to take out any points or anything like that. And that allows you to get your thumb up there for fine tasks. So if you're whittling or if you need to choke up on your blade, you can actually do that now, and it's not going to slide. So anyways, I hope you found this useful. The Buck 119s are really great knives for the money. You can get them at Walmart, you can get them on Amazon, you can get them all over the place. It gives you a lot of knife for the money. So if you're looking to do a few modifications, hopefully to your 119, hopefully this kind of gives you some inspiration or some ideas. Feel free to leave a comment below, or if you have any suggestions on future mods or videos, feel free to let me know. Thanks for watching.